Good morning. You're watching Barnstable This Morning, and this morning I have with me Kate Conway. She is the author of a new young adult novel. It is called Undertow. We are so excited you are joining us this morning.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good. I'm excellent.
So let me ask you first and foremost, how did the idea come about for the novel Undertow?
Well, it was never intended to be a YA novel, a young adult novel. It was never intended to have paranormal elements. It was supposed to be a story about my grandfather from his time in World War II. He was a 17-year-old survivor of Iwo Jima. And throughout my childhood, he would tell us stories of Iwo Jima. And yes, there was heroics and there was violence, but he never really focused on that. He focused instead on the friendships and just the craziness of being these teenagers on this island where, you know, you're facing death every day. And my parents wanted me to write his story, and I was unable to really get in the head of a Marine. I felt ill-equipped to bring justice to that story. So I just started playing with the idea of hatred between two different races, sort of, and what comes about if a few of them decide to break with the norm and join each other. And then I just started playing with different characters. The story just kind of wrote itself after a while.
I had so much fun reading the novel, I must say. And one of the things that I loved about it was that it is set right here on Cape Cod, right in Barnstable, in Centerville and Barnstable Village. And you get, even Barnstable High School plays a role in the book. So it was really neat to read that. Was it fun for you to write about your hometown and those things?
Very, very much. The main character, Isla Walker, her house is actually a real house here in Centerville. My friend owned the house with her family, and we used to hang out in it, and it was this beautiful sea captain's home. It's still there. They no longer own it, but it was just a fabulous house, and it had all this character in and of itself, and I remember going to Four Seas, and it was so easy to place these characters in that setting and build a history behind it. I had a great time doing it. Just fabulous.
And the one thing I should say, too, is this is a young adult novel, and it's, I don't know how to describe it, but it is like sort of supernatural, but it is your own creation, and it's something that has never, it's not, you know, it's not vampires and the traditional themes that sometimes you hear about in young adult novels. How was it difficult for you to come up with this totally original plot line and totally original sort of supernatural beings, so to speak?
In some ways, yes. I think every story that you've ever looked at, every war you've ever seen, there was always two sides to every single clash. And even for Romeo and Juliet, you have the Montagues and the Capulets, and you never really know why they can't stand each other. All you know is that they hate each other. And I wanted to dig farther back in that, and I wanted to put them as old as possible, which started drawing from angels and stuff, and demons and whatnot. And from there, I just kind of let my mind go insane and started building upon it.
One thing you did to publish the book is you actually used some Barnstable High School students in a photo shoot for photos that would be used for the cover and for some promotional items. How was that experience? And I think you actually had some help from former Barnstable director of theater, John Sullivan.
I did. When I was writing Undertow, I knew without doubt that I wanted real local teens on the cover. And if I couldn't, I was just going to do some sort of graphic. I had a team of readers known as beta readers. Some authors use them, some don't. And I had about 5 women that constantly read the book. And one of them lives in Cotuit. And when I put out a call, I said, I need these characters. If anyone knows kids that look like these characters, give me a call. And she said, I think the main character is my next door neighbor. So I started stalking the poor girl on Facebook, and I contacted her mom and whatnot. And from there, I started looking at her friends from Barnstable. And we started fitting the faces together. Once we had everybody, I needed somewhere to shoot. And I knew that John Sullivan had started Quahog Corner and was doing a lot of green screen work and whatnot. And I contacted him, and he was like, sure. And so we used their studio. And Alex Dwanis, he is this young kid with a fabulous eye and a camera, and that poor soul shot for 6 hours straight for nothing. And we took probably close to 600 photos of 8 people. So even though the photos on the blog show only the main characters, there are some other kids that were shot for characters farther down in the series.
Awesome. As far as the process of writing, when did you start writing the novel, and how long has it taken you to put it together?
I started playing with the idea for the story when my son was 1, so about 5 years ago. And I had no intention of writing a novel. I thought I'd just play with these characters for my own purposes, and I kept putting it down for long stretches of time. But I sent a few scenes to a couple different people, and they're like, you need to finish. So I would say I've been focused on really writing and finishing the story for the past 2 years.
And you made the decision to publish it yourself, and there was a reason for that. Why did you decide to not put it out with a publisher?
I sent it out to agents. I got some really great feedback. People loved the story and the characters, but they kept wanting me to change some things. Some things I was absolutely willing to change. Other things there was just no way I was going to do it. And I realized to maintain control, even of the cover, of everything, I needed to do it myself, which has been quite a ride.
And even, the book is set to come out, I think, September 27th, approximately, and it's going to be available on all sorts of different places. You can get it at the bookstore at Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Amazon and some other local bookstores here in town. What would you say to someone who was about to publish a book and working on writing, and what thoughts do you have on the process?
I would say that first to realize that if you're going to write a novel, you don't have to write from the first page to the last. It's easier to write the scenes and then connect the scenes together. I think as humans, we tend to do that no matter what. You love a movie, you remember certain scenes, those things play through your head. I'd also say that if you really want to get in the head of a character and understand the craft behind linking the sentences and the words and the flow, you have to be a reader. You have to read extensively. It's kind of your own form of practice, your own homework. And I think, believe it or not, that tends to fall off for some people because they focus on their own writing. It's critical that you just keep reading other writers, especially well-known stuff that's done very, very well. I mark actual scenes from other books and go back over them again and again to see exactly how they put together a scene. And just realize that it doesn't have to be done in a time frame if you're writing for yourself.
And you did say it is a young adult novel, but really the appeal is broader than that. I mean, I had a great time reading it. It was lots of fun, but I could definitely see passing it to my daughter as well. So
yep.
Who would you think is the ideal audience for Undertow?
I would say anyone, it depends on their reading level, but I'm going to say anyone above 14 to 114, because believe it or not, most of my reviewers are ladies. And I've had a few young men that reviewed it, and I think it has a broad appeal. It's what's considered a crossover, I think.
And this isn't the end. I mean, if fans, once they finish, want to keep reading, which a lot of us who have read it do, you're already working, I think, it's a planned trilogy, I think.
Yes, it's a trilogy with 2 novellas.
And have you started working on the follow-ups?
Yes, I have. So the next book to come out is a half-size book. Undertow is around 100,000 words. The next one will be around 60, and it's just about 2 of the characters that are in Undertow and their summer before. That one's known as Cruel Summer, and then the bigger novel that follows Isla's story, Stormfront, should be out next July.
Well, thank you. Oh, and I should mention, too, if anyone wants to learn more about Undertow or yourself, they can visit your blog. What is your blog?
It's Cape Cod Scribe, and I have an author's page on Facebook, which is just K.R. Conway.
Well, thank you so much for dropping by and telling us all about Undertow. My guest this morning was Kate Conway. She is the author of Undertow. She stopped by. Again, it's going to be out about September 27th, so keep your eye out for that. Thank you so much for Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Mantle.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and we're back with more Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin here with Sarah Mantle, and it really is amazing how much talent there is here on Cape, whether there's writers or photographers or artists,
musicians. I mean, we really are. We have a great arts community.
Absolutely, and so it's great to see people getting their work out there, whether it's self-publishing, which has
Yes.
just exploded over the past 10
Yes.
years. It makes it so much easier now to self-publish than it ever was before.
And I have to say, the book is lots of fun to read. I mean, probably a great beach read, or even heading into the winter. It's a great book to pick up and just sort of escape with.
Excellent. Well, we always like to see those talented people joining us here on the show.